to teach you how to hoop the fabric easily and straight, because a lot of times you do have to get it in exactly where it needs to go. So first off, I want to show you how we're going to prepare the stabilizer and the fabric. Notice that I actually have two pieces of stabilizer. This is a tearaway. A tearaway is the best behind just a nice woven fabric. And we have videos on all different kinds of stabilizers. So if you click over here at the eye, and that will take you to the stabilizer video, give you all the tips and tricks that you need. But for cotton fabrics, 2 layers of stabilizer usually is just right. Now, one thing I do like to use is some type of spray adhesive. This is going to be like insurance for keeping all your layers together. Because when you hoop fabric, what happens is the fabric tends to want to stretch because it's got a bias, there's all sorts of edges there. So what this is going to do is give you a nice, secure area. And I do spray the stabilizer pieces together. This happens to be Web Bond. You might have seen 505 spray. That's one I use a lot. And then I also recommend that you have kind of a maybe a little spraying area. Now the nice thing about the Web Bond is that when you spray it, it's almost like, remember Spider-Man? The spray comes out really straight, kind of like how that is featured in the movie. And then we also spray our stabilizer and stick it to our fabric. That way then the fabric has this nice little tack that will keep it from getting stretched out while you hoop it. That's the key. All right, so just make sure everything is at rest. Also, too, I don't normally spray around my machine, but for today, I did. All right, now all about the hoops. Let's talk about a few things. When you lay it out, you want to always have your outer hoop, the outer hoop with the little bracket here off to the left side. Also stand while you're hooping. That's going to make a difference. And then also take a look. All your hoops are numbered by their exact size. So this one says 360 by 200, and your other hoop that you have with you is 120 by 120, about 5 by 5. So always use the hoop size closest to your design size. Your machine's going to kind of pull that up for you and tell you which hoop is most appropriate. So that's all good. Also too, I've taken a ruler and marked a vertical and horizontal line so I can know if I'm getting it in straight. I like the Frixion pins. These go away with the heat of an iron. And for fabric that is black, use the Clover white marking pin. This also goes away with the heat of an iron, but just a note about the white ones, when you mark on black fabric, though it comes out wet and it has to dry before it shows up. So if you keep going back and forth, it never dries because you're trying to make it work. So draw and wait, and then the white line appears and it goes away super fast with the heat. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is notice that there are markings at the top and bottom of your hoop and also side to side. So if you put those with the lines on your fabric, you know you're going to get it in there straight. Next, what you want to do is open up your little quick release clip here and then loosen up the screw. So depending on what your last thing you embroidered, this might need to be opened up even more than you think. So go ahead and do that. Then what I'm going to do is, with my hoop exactly on the fabric where I want, I'm going to lift it and I'm going to place the hoop. See how I'm still holding it? Everything's going with me. I'm going to aim to put the top part of my hoop into my outer hoop first, and then as I slide it off the table, I can kind of pull it apart and then slip it down. So I haven't stretched any part of this. That's part of what the spray will do. And now what I'm going to do is close or snap that little clip closed. And then go ahead and tighten this up. As tight as my fingers will tighten this screw. Once you have set this, so let's say we've got 3 things we need to embroider that are cotton fabric and we have our 2 things of stabilizer. All we need to do is open this little quick release, put your new fabric in, and then close it. It'll be exactly where you have it set, which I love. Really nice and easy. Okay, right now if I move it across the table, it's kind of loud, and that's because the inner hoop isn't pushed all the way flush. And this is a great little way to kind of get everything nice and tight. So I'm going to take my 2 thumbs on the inner hoop and just push just a little past flush, just a hair on all 4 corners. All right. That makes sure everything gets where it needs to be. There might be a little wrinkle at this corner where the clip is. That is pretty normal. See if that can be tightened any more. Just a couple turns. Excellent. And now listen. nice and quiet, so now it won't rub against the bottom of the machine. All right, so one other thing, in your packet of accessories here, you've got some thread, some scissors, some fabric and stabilizer to get you started, but you also have these little clips. So what happens with some fabrics, either finer fabrics or just heavy fabrics, that your corners are tight when you tighten the hoop, but the sides almost like want to open up, and that's what these come into play. They want to clip the edges. So on one side, there's kind of a little tongue, and then that tongue is going to fit into these little slots. So as you push them together, it squeezes. Look at all the little places. So you can have them at the top, the bottom, the sides, and on this side where the bracket is, you can also squeeze one at the top and one at the bottom of the bracket and get a nice, secure project, especially when it might be a little heavy or, again, the fabric's a little lightweight and almost not being held at all with the tightness of the hoop. All right, we are ready to go ahead and show you how to get everything set up, how to put the hoop on the machine, and start embroidering.